Up to Boxing Brothers UK. Subscribe now. Boom, boom.
Hello everybody, it's Boxing Brothers UK here. I'm the boss Chris. Boots Ennis, Virgil Ortiz Jr. Is this fight ever going to be made? I do not think so. In Oscar De La Hoya, Eddie Hearn, Virgil Ortiz's manager, they're all fucking at loggerheads. Once they're both saying they want it, he's saying it's just all a mess. So let's get into it. Oscar De La Hoya on his Crackhead Thursdays that he does. This is what he had to say.
Eddie Hearn is begging the media for this Boots and Virgil Ortiz fight. It's so stupid as a promoter to pigeonhole your fighter into one opponent. You lose your negotiating power, which ends up being a lot of lost money for your fighter. Also, every time a manager tries to be a hero and negotiate behind the...
So, this thing about one fighter, I thought you want to make the best fights for your fighter. He's talking shit. This is the fight that the fans want. It's the best fight out there. Why wouldn't you want this fight? Like, it's just, and there's, it just doesn't make sense to me. Negotiating power. So you want the fight, but you're trying to get more money. I just don't like Oscar De La Hoya. I loved him as a fighter, but as a promoter, he's such a fucking dickhead.
Promoters back, they lose money for the fighter. And at the same time, violate the Muhammad Ali Act. And you know what? I'm gonna start sending legal letters enforcing this because I'm fucking tired of it. Some managers are just full of shit and I will be exposing them, trust me. Look, Virgil can fight 2 or 3 different guys in mega fights. He's got options. Imagine him with Errol Spence at Dallas Cowboys Stadium.
Why? Errol Spence just posted the other day that he's probably permanently retiring from boxing. Bullshit again. Bullshit.
Or Sebastian Fundora in a mega fight in Vegas. Boots is part of the plan, but it doesn't have to be next. But Eddie, since you're so desperate to make this fight, then let's do this. 60-40 for Virgil and 5% to the winner. Because I'm generous and I'm not moving off those numbers. You're the one who's begging for this fight. So let's go.
That is a fucking low ball offer. It is 40-40 and 20% to the winner. Or 45-45, 10% to the winner. Come on, like, that's bullshit. So then after the Dalton Smith fight, Eddie Hearn had this to say.
What about Oscar De La Hoya's video yesterday on Boots and
Virgil? Look, I'm also not gonna go firing back at Oscar because I want to make the fight. If I start coming out going, Oscar, like doing this, everyone's going to get pissed off. I've also been there before. Do you know what I mean? Oscar, Golden Boy and those guys, they made us a written offer for Boots against Ortiz. 55% for Ortiz and 45% for Ennis. I went back to Golden Boy, this is, I don't know, 4 months ago, whatever it was. And I said, I don't think that's fair. Ortiz isn't a world champion. Ennis is a world champion and unified, but he's moving up, so he...
It's nothing to do with that division, although he's won 7 belts. So that shouldn't enter into negotiations. 50-50 or 45-45, 10% to the winner, something like that.
No longer has a belt. He sells bucket loads of tickets in Philly. Ortiz is really popular in Texas. I think it's 50-50. We sat in a room with the Zone, me, Oscar, Eric Gomez, Pete, and Jared, right, from the Zone. We all agreed on the deal. And I'll say it because obviously Oscar's, 50-50 and 5% for the winner, okay? So basically 55-45 to the winner. We all agreed and we left the room to make the deal. Ennis signed the contract and Virgil Ortiz didn't sign the contract, okay? Now, if they don't want to do that deal anymore and they want to renege on their word, that's fine. I'm not going to moan about it, but I have to speak to my client because that's very different to what was agreed in the room. I really don't feel like this is the most obvious 50-50 fight that can be, but I'm very happy to look at, and I'm not going to come out and go, winner takes all. We'd do that, but anything can happen in boxing, and you've got to protect the fighter. But I'm happy to have that overlay of a bigger percentage for the winner. So if you truly believe you're going to win the fight, you will get by far the lion's share. And I'm not going to come out and tell you what it is, and I'm not going to.
Would you go as far as 60-40 to the winner?
I'm going to go back to Oscar De La Hoya, who I, at the moment, touch wood, everything's friendly. I believe Oscar De La Hoya wants to make the best fight. And when he says, Eddie, you're desperate, you're showing your hand, I am desperate. I'm desperate to make the best fights in boxing for DAZN.
Well said, Eddie. And we want this fight. The boxing fans this is the fight the boxing fans want. Don't forget, I want this fight. Everyone wants this fight because we want to see Boots Ennis in a real fight. Everyone wants this fight. So, I don't know.
And for me, this fight is the best fight in American boxing. And I will be going back to them this week with my ideas to try and make the fight. I have to speak to my client because we agreed, and everybody in that room knows what was agreed. But if that's not on the table anymore, we've got to revisit it. So hopefully we can get the fight made.
Well, then after that, Ortiz's manager had this to say. Rick Merigian. This is an interview that he gave with Boxing Scene. Ortiz's manager said to Boxing Scene, they, meaning Golden Boy, don't have the authorization to say the deal must be 60-40 split in Ortiz's favor. 60-40 of what? You can't move on, and you can't move on when no one has spoken to us. And we have the right to negotiate. We do want this fight. Meridian said the contract between Ortiz, the current WBC interim 155-pound titleist, and Golden Boy stipulates that the fighter must be presented with 3 opponents to choose from before any bout is made. He said Philadelphia's recent unified welterweight champion, Ennis, has been the only opponent presented. The presented offer carried a financial figure that was far lacking what many observers assess as the best boxing match that can be made today. A battle between 2 under 30 talents, each possessing destructive power and relentless skill. We are given one number and we gave a counter that was denied in late December, Meridian said. Over the weekend, De La Hoya instituted his own deadline for Ennis promoter Eddie Hearn to respond to a 60-40 purse split that would award 5% to the winner, exposing possible loser Ennis to get 35%. If Eddie Hearn didn't contact De La Hoya by Monday late afternoon, De La Hoya said he was moving on. Virgil Ortiz's manager said, moving on to who? Sebastian Fundora is expected to defend his belt against former unified welterweight titleist Keith Thurman in March 21st, according to the boxing officials. Errol Spence Jr., another opponent floated by De La Hoya, vacationing in Caraco on Instagram, and he hasn't fought since he got his arse beat by fucking Terence Crawford. So that's just a no-no. And he said he was retiring. There's another no-no. This planned Ortiz fight date is planned for March the 28th, Eddie Hearn said in a recent YouTube interview. There is prior written documentation revealing the framework of the proposal made previously. 55% to Ortiz, 45% to Ennis. Meridian said he was told no such deal in writing was ever made. He also insisted his counteroffer, Golden Boy, was a bargain. If you want Boots to fight Ortiz, call me, Meridian said. We are not moving on. We will negotiate. Virgil wants to make the fight, and so do I. I like and respect Oscar De La Hoya, noted Meridian. He is one of the greatest fighters in history and a tremendous promoter, but I'm being forced into a position to protect my fighter, and I will do that. So there you have it. However,
where does Rick Meridian's position in this? Because there's been a lot of...
No, we don't have any conversations with Rick Meridian. We only deal with Golden Boy on this fight. We're not interested in talking to Ortiz's manager. I think Oscar was talking about something else.
Also, every time a manager tries to be a hero and negotiate behind the promoter's back, they lose money for the fighter. And at the same time, violate the Muhammad Ali Act. And you know what? I'm gonna start sending legal letters enforcing this because I'm fucking tired of it.
Like, what is going on here? I don't believe that someone would come out in public and say, we haven't received no offer, we're the only ones, we have the final say, blah, blah, blah. If you really want to make the fight, contact me. Because he might be his manager to negotiate what he gets, but if he's signed to Golden Boy, like, the manager's more of an advisor, I'd say. Like, it's all very, very, very confusing. And like everyone's saying fucking all different shit. You don't know who to believe. And all this tells me the fight ain't happening. Like, it'd be nice if Ortiz Jr. came out and opened his mouth and fucking said something like, you know, but obviously can't, because Oscar De La Hoya just seems like he's being a bully, like being up, saying lowballing Eddie Hearn, saying he's got to fight someone he don't really want to fight because he wants a boots fight, and just doing what benefits him because he doesn't like Eddie Hearn and he wants to get one over on Eddie Hearn, lowball him and make him accept it. He's not doing what's best for the fighter. Ortiz, if he opens his mouth and says anything, Oscar's threatening he's going to be making less money for your fighter. That is like, it's just all confusing, man. And like, people have always left Matchroom on amicable terms, mostly, and he's hardly ever sued anybody. Not like Frank Warren or anyone like that. As a promoter, since he's retired, like, he's not the one. I don't like his style. I don't like the way he's behaving. It seems like he's being like a bully, making people fight whoever he says, regardless if it's best for them, arguing with his manager. Everyone should be working in unison. It's not good for business. And it's interesting what his manager said there. Very, very, very interesting. Because when we interviewed Spike O'Sullivan, check the card, Oscar De La Hoya did something similar, exactly the same. Or could you not have said, I want to fight him, I don't care, whatever the money is, let me sign it. And they said no. Like, whose decision is it? Is it yours? Is it theirs? Like, how did it work?
Well, I just wanted to fight Golovkin at the time, and I was told, they offered me a contract that was life-changing money. Like, I bought my house out of it and that, and then I was told as well, if I decided that, like, I'm not fighting on that, I'm insisting on the Golovkin fight, that, like, I could get taken to court basically because it breach of contract, and I'd never win because I wouldn't have enough money anyway to fight fucking against Golden Boy, like.
Yeah, that's so shit. So even Golden, because he was signed with Golden Boy, Spike O'Sullivan got an offer directly from Golovkin, and he wanted to fight Golovkin, and he said, "I'll take it." Yeah, sweet. And Golden Boy said, "You're not taking it because you're signed with us, and the money they're offering isn't big enough. So we'll turn that offer down. We'll fight Lemieux instead, and then they'll come back with a bigger offer." And what happened to Spike O'Sullivan? He got knocked out in the first round or second round by Lemieux. Now, obviously, he might not have beat Golovkin, but he might have beat Golovkin. You don't know. No one can say nothing in boxing. Nothing is guaranteed. Anything can happen in boxing. As we've seen in the past, Tyson, like when AJ lost to Andy Ruiz, that was a big upset. Mike Tyson, another big upset. There's always massive upsets happening in boxing. Always. So no one can say nobody can beat this guy, nobody can beat that guy. Unless it's Deontay Wilder right now. No, joking. Yeah. But seriously, you can't say that. And he wanted the Golovkin fight, and the fighter wanted it, and he accepted the deal with the manager, but they wouldn't let him take it. So this tells me that the only person blocking this fight who doesn't want it to happen is Oscar De La Hoya. And it's just shameful, man. Like, the fans want this fight. We don't want to see him fight. Why would anyone want to watch Virgil Ortiz fight Errol Spence? Why? It's just like, Errol Spence hasn't shown that he's still got it or anything. Talking about retiring, vacationing. Just, no one wants to see that fight. Nobody wants to see that fight. Not right now, anyway. Fundora's already fighting in March. What options? What options are there? There are no fucking options. Oscar De La Hoya, I don't think he's going to last long on the zone. And he keeps talking about PBC fighters. I think him and Al Heyman are cooking up something. Like, they're going to try and work together and go against the Saudis, and you will lose because you don't make the big fights. I think he's the only the only show that's on is Ryan Garcia against Barrios. I think he's making that fight with the Saudis' help. But apart from that, and it's just, I just wish that this fight could be made. I'm a boxing fan. I want to see the fight. And the offers that he's offering, 60-40 split, 5% to the winner. So he still gets less even if he wins. They're on a level playing field. Ortiz is not a bigger draw than Boots. And Boots ain't a bigger draw than Ortiz. 50-50 or a higher percentage for the winner. Like 50-55, what Eddie said, or 45-10, whatever. But not that low ball offer. That's bullshit. And he's doing it because he's just thinking about his own. He's not looking after the best interests of the fighter because he's going to get less money. So that's why he's making the fight, and he'll only take it if he can get maximum money for himself, because he's not doing that in the best interest of his Ortiz. No fucking way. To fight Ennis, to beat Ennis, if he believes he can beat him, great. That's a great win, and yeah, he'll get paid more for it, but he wants to fight. And he's happy to, and he believes he can win, so he will get that higher share. So why not do that? Deal. It's just ridiculous. Oscar De La Hoya is bang out of order in this situation, I have to say. And yeah, that's all I've got to say on that. Like and subscribe.
Help, I need somebody. Help, now just